Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Harinam Sankirtanya ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. So we're returning to discussing the Sri Hansaduta, a book written by Srila Rupa Goswami. Of course, who is Srila Rupa Goswami? Rupa Goswami is the principal Acharya in our movement, because Rupa Goswami was described to be a perfect replica of Lord Chaitanya. It's that he understood the mood of Lord Chaitanya in a way like no one else did. And therefore, his writings were kind of bringing the experiences of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu out to the public. Because Mahaprabhu himself, he did not write any books. He spoke 8 verses, which are known as Siksastakam. And there, he expresses this mood of separation. It is stated in the Chaitanya Bhagavat that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu grew up in Navadvip, and at a relatively young age, when he was in his teens, then his father expired. And when his father left the planet, after some time, Nimai desired to go to Gaya and make a pilgrimage there to perform Pinda on behalf of his father, since there is the Vishnupad Mandir in Gaya, Once Lord Vishnu there appeared after the austerities performed by a great sage, and the Lord, after his appearance, left a footprint in the rock. So that rock is still there in one temple these days, and was also there 500 years ago at the time of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that rock is being worshipped daily. Bathing with milk is going on. And therefore traditionally it is there where the Shraddha ceremony is performed, because there the Lord manifested his mercy. So many people are going to Gaya to perform Shraddha ceremonies. I have also gone there a number of times. And after it was there that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met his spiritual master. There he became deeply inspired by the association of Iswara Puri, and to a point that he took initiation. And initiation meant Diksha. Diksha meant he was receiving both first and second. He was both receiving Harinam and Mantra Diksha. So as he was receiving these mantras, very happily he returned to Bengal. And on the way, as he entered into Bengal, he came across a place known as Kanai Natashala. Natashalas are traditionally places where libraries are kept of manuscripts and also religious arts and paintings. That is a Natashala. So a Kanai Natashala is one dedicated to Kanai, to Krishna. So that place, Kanai Natashala, was situated on the Ganga. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went there and sat down on the bank of the Ganga, and at that time chanted the Gayatri mantra. And Vaishnavas chant different Gayatri mantras, not just, as not just the Gayatri mantra, the Brahma Gayatri, like Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj said that like every Hindu who is worth his salt knows that mantra, right? He said the other day. So that may be, right? But no, there are other mantras. And one of the Gayatri mantras that are chanted is the Gopal Gayatri mantra. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was chanting the various Gayatri mantras he received, and then when he chanted the Gopal Gayatri mantra, at that point Gopal appeared before him there in Kanai Natashala. And he had a darshan of Gopal. And then moments later, Gopal disappeared. And Mahaprabhu basically experienced that he found the Supreme Lord that he was looking for, but he had lost him immediately. And then he was, after that, in that mood of separation. In that mood of separation, looking for him once again, everywhere and anywhere. This mood of separation is then an ongoing theme in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's personal experience and in his teachings, and that is brought to us. And of course, that same mood of separation is now being discussed in the Hansaduta, where we find that Akrura, the son of Gandhini, he has come to Vrindavan, Akrura, and he has taken Krishna and Balaram away, Akrura, the gopis. Akrura means the one who is not cruel. They said, yes, the cruel one has the name not cruel. Just see what a deceiver, what a cheater he is. He calls himself Akrura, but he is most Krura, because he is taking Krishna away from Vrindavan. The gopis and all the cowherd boys, the Yamuna, all of Vrindavan was actually affected by the departure of Krishna. The Yamuna started to dry up. The cowherd boys were falling unconscious in the forest. Sridham, the brother of Srimati Radharani, friend of Krishna, Sridham said, if Krishna is not staying in Vrindavan, then why would I stay? What is the value of Vrindavan if Krishna is not there? In this way, all of Vrindavan was affected by separation, but to different degrees. No one was experiencing separation to the same degree as Srimati Radharani. Her separation was just, he said the various gopis were overwhelmed by separation. But for Srimati Radharani, it was all overwhelming. I mean, there was nothing else. There was just nothing else, her whole existence. So she was experiencing very intense emotions. And the Hansaduta basically begins that to get some relief from the feverish heat of separation, Srimati Radharani went along with some of her gopi assistants to the Yamuna to cool down a little bit, to get some fresh breezes from the Yamuna. And there she saw a pastime place where she and Krishna had met many times. And then she fainted. Unconsciousness gave her some relief. And the gopis arranged a bed made of cooling lotus flowers for her and were fanning her with lotuses that were dipped in Yamuna water to try and bring her back to consciousness. Lalita quickly went to the Yamuna trying to bring some water. And it was there that Lalita met a swan. And when she saw this swan, she realized this swan is a very pious creature. A swan is like that. Even to us, a swan appears like a noble bird, not just, not like a crow, or a pigeon, No, a swan, isn't it? It's nice. So the swan seemed to be the ideal messenger, the ideal person to send a message to Krishna. Because, after all, it was an emergency. Something needed to be done. Srimati Radharani's condition was getting critical. It really couldn't wait. And therefore, she was desperate. She went to the Yamuna in a desperate mood, bring some water, but that was no solution. But anyway, you have to do something. Even if you have no solution, still you want to do something. So she wanted to do something. So at least bring some Yamuna water, although in itself it will not solve anything. She knew it well. And then there was this swan, at least some hope, a message. Maybe we can send a message to Krishna. And if we do it in an intelligent way, then possibly we can penetrate into the heartless heart of Krishna. Krishna, who is so cold and so hard, who just left everyone practically on the verge of death, and he doesn't care. He's just enjoying. That's him. Artistic Krishna, remember? We discussed yesterday, artistic Krishna, he likes to dress, he appreciates beauty and all these things, and now he's with the beauties of Mathura. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And he just totally forgot. He forgot everything about Vrindavan. So, Lalita, being somewhat in a contrary mood, Lalita, being a left-wing gopi, having a character, a left-wing character. The right-wing character is where the devotee is very submissive. But the left-wing character is where the devotee is rebellious. So Lalita is strong and hot-headed. In front of Lalita, no one can speak. Oh no, even Radharani is controlled by Lalita. Lalita, first of all, is 27 days older than Srimati Radharani. So she is elder, and that means a lot in Vedic culture. If you're 1 minute older, then you are older. In Vedic culture, yes, that means a lot. So Lalita was elder, and Lalita was sometimes acting as the authority. Although she is the servant of Srimati Radharani, at other times she's known as the guru. She's known as the guru. For example, on one occasion, sometimes Krishna has dissatisfied Srimati Radharani because of not being faithful. He was supposed to come, and there were rumors that he had been visiting the grove of Chandravali. So then Radharani didn't want to see him, didn't want to know him, didn't want to speak to him, and was in a state of man. In that state of man, of angry pride, she was ready to make Krishna crawl, and still she did not want to see him. And Lalita was even stronger. Lalita was standing next to her and said, yes, he is cheating you, he's mistreating you, he's not worthy of your love. Do not give in to this fellow. Do not see him. Even at one point, Krishna was really repentant and came to Srimati Radharani and said, please forgive me. I actually only went there to sort of make your feelings for me stronger. All along I was thinking only of you. And that was the truth, actually. So Radharani was ready to forgive him. But Lalita was still there. Lalita did not give permission. No, you cannot see him. And Krishna said, please, to Radharani. And Radharani said, what can I do? Lalita says that I cannot see you. So I'm very sorry. I cannot do anything. So just to understand, the position of Lalita is very prominent. She has a strong character. So she was preparing a message for Krishna. And you can imagine how she felt. This guy, what he is doing to my friend, he's killing her. He's killing all of us, but especially her enemy, the rat. Obviously, she was thinking thoughts like that. How can he behave in this way? And I'll let him know. So a message is on the way. We are not there yet. We have just read the introductory verses. We sort of yesterday got to understand the scene. I don't want a software update. It always wants to give you a software update, just when you don't want it. Chalo. No, it's the wrong one. Rupa Goswami, here it is. So, we are back. So we remember, the swan was on the way following the path that Krishna had gone to Mathura. Akrura had taken Krishna and Balaram in the chariot, and that same path the swan was now going. And Lalita had told the swan, if you faithfully go that path that Krishna has gone, then surely you will become a Paramahansa, a topmost swan. So, welcome back, my dear swans, here tonight. And if some swans, by any chance, have only tonight arrived amidst of all of us other swans, then let me tell you one thing, my dear swans. You have a chance, because you are a swan after all. And therefore, as a swan, you have some inherent good quality. Although it now may be somewhat covered and somewhat forgotten by the mode of ignorance and the mode of passion, nonetheless, my dear swans, right, inherently some good qualities are there, and by a process, the good qualities can be brought out. And that, my dear swans, will give you the opportunity to become a messenger of the great pure devotee. Sri Lalita who is even treated by Srimati Radharani herself like a guru. What can we say? She is representing Sri Guru, a Guru Tattva, in this narrative for us and for the swan, for us swans. Yes. So now, back to the Sri Hansaduta. Sakritvam sinada shravana militabira vanita raha krida shakshi pratipada lata satma subhagaha sadenunam bandur madhumatana katayita shilaha karisyate anandam sapadita vagovadannagiri. Govardhan Hill, which saw Krishna's secret pastimes with the gopis, that hearing the sound of his flute, ran to meet him, which is beautiful with many vine cottages, which is the cow's friends, and the boulder, of which were Krishna's hiding place, will delight you. Okay, the English is a little crooked, needs maybe some editing, but let's say. So here we see Govardhan, as we all know, is non-different from Krishna. But at the same time, in Srimad Bhagavatam, Govardhan is described as Haridasar Varya, or the greatest servant of the Lord. That in itself is not so complicated, because there are many expansions of the Lord that act as the servant of the Lord. For example, Balaram. Balaram is non-different from Krishna, but Balaram is acting as the servant. And Advaita-Acharya is acting as the servant. Lord Nityananda is acting as the servant. So many expansions of the Lord are the Lord, but are acting as the servant. So in this way, Govardhan is the Lord, is Krishna himself. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu one day gave a Govardhan Shila, very small, only this big, to Raghunath Goswami, who was in the renounced order of life. And he said that you may worship this Shila of Govardhan as Krishna. And you offer a Gunja mala, a mala of Gunja berries. You may have seen that Govardhan has this mala made of red and blackish berries. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said this Gunja mala is non-different from Srimati Radharani. And therefore it is a customary practice to worship Govardhan and always have the Gunja mala. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered. So there is no doubt Govardhan is Krishna. Therefore Lord Chaitanya would not step on Govardhan, because how can you step on Krishna? But at the same time, Govardhan is Haridasar Varya, the greatest servant. And here, in this verse, we're looking at the identity of Govardhan as a servant. So, when Krishna performed his pastimes with the gopis and so on, then at one point, he played his flute. And suddenly, Govardhan came running towards the sound of that flute. You say, Govardhan running? Isn't Govardhan a hill? Yes. Yes, he is a hill, that is a fact. But in the spiritual world, or in the pastimes of Krishna, these things are a little different. Hills are moving. Actually, according to Vedic literatures, in ancient times, hills used to move about. Hills and mountains used to fly about. Hills and mountains used to have wings. And everywhere, yes, I can see some disbelief in people's eyes, but hills used to fly. It was all right. The only complication was at the landing. Sometimes, sometimes some people got squashed. So therefore Indra thought, it's becoming a problem really, this flying of these mountains. We have to do something about it. So since that time, Indra cut the wings of the mountains with his thunderbolt. And since that time, mountains stopped flying. Therefore, between the mountains and Indra, there is some old issue. Some old issues are there. So it was not surprising that between Govardhan and Indra some problems arose. Huh? It had to be, because the old issues woke up again, if you know what I mean. But Govardhan was victorious over Indra. Just see. Yes. Anyway, Govardhan, as we see in his role as a devotee, is just ecstatically running towards Krishna. Believe it or not. For the skeptics, what can I say? For the cynics, there are clinics, and so on. But for the devotees, life is a miracle. It is a miracle. And Prabhupada said about miracles, he said, miracles don't exist. It is simply that we don't understand. And then we call it a miracle. He said, otherwise, miracles don't exist. Why is something a miracle? When we're dealing with Krishna, the unlimited Supreme Lord, are you saying there is something that Krishna cannot do? Oh, this is a miracle. Why is it a miracle for Krishna? What is a miracle for Krishna? He's not limited. He can do whatever he wants. Isn't it? So then, Govardhan cannot run? Watch out. Next time you're on Govardhan Parikrama. Yes. He is Govardhan, the one who increases the number of cows. That is one meaning of Govardhan, the one who increases the numbers of cows. Because he is arranging endless pasturing grounds and nice water and so on. So the cows are doing really well with Govardhan. So in this way, he's serving Krishna by increasing the number of cows. So it is now that Lalita begins to describe Govardhan Hill to the swan. Tam evadrim chakram kitakara pariswangirasikam mahi chakre sanke mahi sikarinam sekarataya aratim gyatnitam nanuhari hayam yaparibavan yatartam sram nama vyadita bhuvi govardhanite. We think this hill that tasted the nectar touch of Krishna's chakra-marked hands defeated its relative's enemy, King Indra, and is appropriately named Govardhan. It is the crown of all mountains on earth. Yes, so I already explained Govardhan, the one who increases the cows. Jiva Goswami describes that Govardhan is very opulent, that there are many beautiful jewel slabs, not just little jewels, no, slabs, huge pieces of one solid jewel slabs with seats for Radha and Krishna to see. Have you seen? Have you gone to Vrindavan? Have you seen? You didn't see. Maybe then you didn't go to Vrindavan. But possibly we didn't go. Possibly we didn't reach. We went because Prabhupada said one cannot go to Vrindavan by the train. Although, but there is a train. Swamiji, there is a train. Matra se. Train hai to. Yes, Radharani Express is there. Nobody pays. Nobody buys a ticket on the Radharani Express. No, they don't pay. Everybody just goes, and the railways doesn't stop the train because they're afraid they will lose the blessings of Radharani. So therefore, they let that train run at a loss. It's just to get blessings for the Indian railways. And they are getting. And all the sadhus are riding on that train. Nobody ever pays on the Radharani Express. Forget it. Runs from Mathura to Vrindavan. Yes. So there is a train, and then you come in the Vrindavan station. I have reached in Vrindavan. Was it only so simple? Was it only so cheap? Was it so easy that you could just reach Vrindavan by rail, by road, by boat? Even by swan carrier, Lord Brahma could not fully reach Vrindavan. Lord Brahma said that for 60,000 years he had meditated on the dust of the lotus feet of the gopis, and still he could not understand. He could not understand how that dust could have that position. Yes. How the dust could be fixed. He couldn't understand that dust. Think about it. The dust is there at the feet of Krishna's pure devotees. We cannot be fixed at the feet of Krishna's pure devotees. That was Lord Brahma's meditation. How? How can this dust be so fixed when I cannot be fixed? I try so much to be fixed at the lotus feet of the pure devotee, and I'm struggling. My mind has its own agenda. Lord Brahma was thinking with all his foreheads, and yet 60,000 years he was thinking about it, still could not understand how this dust could remain fixed in such a way. He understood the key was love. That he understood very well. Oh yes, without a doubt. But how could he really understand that love when he didn't experience it in his heart? How can one understand something? We can give so many mundane examples. If you've never tasted rasgulla, I can give you a detailed description. It is made of paneer that is first kneaded very, very smooth until like sort of a paste, and then we make it into a ball. And that ball, we are putting it into a sugar syrup. The best syrup is made of misri, of sugar candy, with water, like 1:1. And we are just boiling that syrup, and then we place a tiny touch, not too much, tora, rose water inside, little. And then we boil that rasgulla, and it absorbs the juice. Some cooks, as a trick, they take a little piece of misri, of sugar candy, and put it inside the ball. And as they're boiling it, it melts so that it becomes extra juicy from inside. And then you offer it to Krishna once it's cooled down. And then when it is the Mahaprasad, you pick up this dripping ball, and the juice is dripping on all sides. And you open your mouth and you put it in. And as you bite, the sweet juice squirts in all directions, forwards on your clothes and backwards over your tongue into your throat. This is absolutely delicious. Some of you, I saw, start licking their lips. That's serious. On the men's side, I saw some. But let's be. But if you've never tasted it, even after this description, you may say, "Wow, this is really great." But the day that you actually taste the rasgulla, then you'll say, that's what it's like. So all this time, you could be a professor in rasgullas. No, I've got a PhD in rasgullas. Yeah. Rasgulology. Yes. I wrote a thesis on rasgullas. No, I know everything about rasgullas. Where you get the best rasgullas in India. All this, anyway, in Calcutta, where you buy rasgullas. You can buy rasgullas in tins, you know that. And you can have kurmas, rasgullas, so many rasgullas. Anyway, one may know all these things, but if you haven't tasted, it's not the same. So, one may know everything about love of God in theory, but if you haven't tasted it, how can we understand? So we have a problem here when we are discussing the love of Srimati Radharani, because there is no one who can actually approach it. No one can understand it. Even Krishna couldn't understand it. Even he couldn't understand it. That's why he had to come as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of Radharani to try and understand it. So, anyway, but we try and understand a little bit. Like the swan. At one point Lalita said, just like you have your swan mate, and sometimes you feel separation from your mate. Bring it down to the mundane level so that we can understand. So we're describing Govardhan Hill, and we carry on with that. Tamala Syalokat Giripari Saresanti Chapala Pulindyo Govinda Smarana Rabasutaptava Pusaha Sanaistasam Tapam Ksanam Apanayan Yati Bhavan Avasyam Kalindi Salila Sisirai Pakshapavanai. The cooling Yamuna spray, carried by your wings, breeze, removing for a moment the fever of the Pulinda girls burning in memory of Govinda by seeing a tamal tree, you will slowly fly by Govardhan Hill. These Pulinda girls were just the local girls that were staying in the forest area. Jats, they call them nowadays. Or Aboriginal girls, not really belonging to any family with tradition, not really strictly following Vedic culture, such families. They are not actually within the Varnashram, so they are not strictly adhering to Vedic culture, but they are residing in the forests and But even these ladies, these Pulinda ladies, had become devotees. They had become devotees by the association of the gopis. They had found sometimes dust in the forest that was mixed with kumkum left over from meetings of Krishna and the gopis. They took that dust and smeared it on their bodies, and they became great devotees. And now these ladies were also in separation, just like the gopis. They also had developed full attachment to Krishna. So that's encouraging. It's encouraging because these days, who can say that they are actually following Vedic culture? Who can say that they have been conceived through Garbhadana Sanskara? Who can say that one's parents performed Garbhadana Sanskara before birth? Who can say? And if not, then Jayate Varna Sankara. Then Bhagavad Gita says, then only Varna Sankara will take birth, or unwanted progeny will take birth. Sometimes, why Varna Sankara? The Sankara belonging to Varnas. There are 4 Varnas, Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, and then there is Varna Sankara. What is this Varna Sankara? It is a class of beings that are in low birth, low bodies, like ghosts and spirits and such type of creatures. And they take shelter of Lord Shiva. They follow him, and he is merciful. He is most merciful. He gives shelter to them. Then, when some man and woman unite in sexual activity in an unauthorized way, without the Garbhadana Sanskara, which is outlined in the Dharma Shastra, if they're not adhering to that, then if pregnancy occurs, if a conception is there, then the child that gets attracted at that time, that enters into the womb, is Varna Sankara, is one of those spirits and so on. So if you sometimes see your children like, then you know the old habits die hard, as they say. Yes. But here we see even the Pulinda girls are getting the mercy. So that's encouraging. That a lack of sanskara, a lack of connection or qualification in taking shelter in the Vedic injunctions is no disqualification for this mercy of Krishna. It is available to all. Even the Pulinda girls were experiencing the same separation. There is a chance. There is a chance after all. Tadante srikante smara samara dati puttakita kadambanam vatirasika paripatim sputayate tamasiнаstasyam nayadi parito nandasi tato babu vavyartate ganara sanivesha vyasanita. Next is the sweet Kadamba groves, where the gopis beloved engaged in amorous battle. If you do not become happy there, you cannot taste even the sweetest nectar. So yes, surely Lalita is sure that the swan is not just going on that journey as a messenger. Is not only going there as one who carries the message of Radharani in this case, but that the swan will also go through a process of personal transformation. And this process of personal transformation will happen automatically. So this answers all the how can I questions. How can I become humble? How can I develop real love for Krishna? How can I overcome material desires? How can I get taste for the holy name? How can I questions? How can I? All the how can I questions are now answered. They are now answered. Because simply, if we become a messenger, if we actually go that path of the messenger, then automatically, prakasante mahatmanaha, automatically everything will be revealed. Iya iha yasya hari. No, that's not the verse. I'm sorry. Yasya deva parabhaktir tasyaite katita yarta. If we simply follow the directions of Sri Guru and the scriptures, then everything will be automatically revealed. See? That's basically what is said. How can I be a messenger? Just be a messenger. But how can I be a messenger? Yes, then that is our choice. We can choose. The mercy is already there. It's already given. Lalita already chose the swan. We've already been chosen in the same way. We've been chosen. It's not that we have to make the choice, because the devotees make the arrangements. They choose us. We don't choose them. They make arrangements. The pure devotees, they send their messengers and they plant transcendental knowledge in different places until you finally trip over it. You can't avoid it. It's wherever you go left. No, you just walk past. He missed it. Try again. But it manifests everywhere, wherever you are. Just as on the plane in Alitalia, the steward came down the aisle and was singing Sri Guru Charana Padma, as Italians are doing, with a lot of vibrato. Yes, it penetrates everywhere. And the whole plane became touched by the mercy. How that steward was touched by the mercy, I cannot say. But he carried it. He was a messenger. He was a messenger. Sometimes people they carry something of the message, although they don't follow it themselves. Sometimes we get Krishna consciousness from one who is not following it, and still they bring it into our life. But if we get it from a pure devotee, who has full faith and dedication, then immediately our conviction becomes very strong. Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur wrote a book called Chaitanya Siksamrita. This book is counting as one of his major works. Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur wrote about 100 books. And amongst these books, wrote 100 books. And yeah. Funny, 100 books. I am, forgive me, Mataji. I understand that it's not nice for the Matajis, but what can I do? My brain loses it every time. They are powerful, these children. Yeah, what to do? 100 books. Chaitanya Siksamrita is one of the principal ones. Another principal one is Jaiva Dharma. Another one is Harinam Chintamani. These three books are of outstanding importance amongst all his important books. So in Chaitanya Siksamrita, Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur is explaining that a devotee who has nistha, who has firm conviction, he can easily give shraddha. He can easily give faith to people. When one comes in contact with a devotee who has firm conviction, then people, even who are not strong in convinced about spiritual life, sort of become convinced by his association. He can give shraddha. Whereas when a neophyte is trying to convince people, sometimes, how can we convince people? How can we convince them? We are trying to preach, Swamiji. How can we convince them? They are not interested. Nobody is interested. This time is so materialistic. Nobody is interested in Krishna consciousness. Well, are you interested in Krishna consciousness? The more we are interested in anything, the more convincing we become, logically. And one who has nistha, has firm faith. One who has nistha is ready to act upon Krishna's instructions. I have this simple story of a man who was repairing the roof of the house. Plenty of leaking, and we're running out of pots and pans to catch all the water. So his wife was getting tired of it and sent him on the roof on a sunny day. So there he was, and he's hammering away on the roof. And all was going well until he took a wrong step. And before he knew it, he was sliding down really fast and was about to go over the edge when last minute, whoop, caught the edge of the roof. Thank God, I'm saved. And there he was hanging on the edge of the roof. But you know how it is. Most of us, we sit too much, we don't do any exercise, and as a result, a certain part of the body of man tends to grow more than other parts. And he was trying to pull himself up, but couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. Again. And in this way, then he realized, I'm not saved. I'm not saved. I may go down any moment. And he was calling out to God, oh God, please save me. A voice behind him, need any help? Who are you? I am God. Oh God, please save me. All right, just let go of the roof and I will catch you. Can't you catch me first and then I'll let go? So this is our position. To translate that means I keep everything I've got. I keep the car, I keep the dog, I keep the canary, I keep all the things I have safely under lock and key. I keep all my old habits. I still do the same thing I always did, but now I also go to the mandir. No, every Friday I'm going. Yeah, yes. Krishna, 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 and the rest of the week I just do what I always used to. So this is holding on to the roof. In that case, we are kanista. Then we are very weak-faced. But at nista, it means we are ready to let go of everything and just follow the Gita. Follow the Gita, follow the scripture. Whatever the scripture says, okay, I'll do that. Then the scripture becomes practical and it becomes part of our life. How can I, Maharaj, how can I learn slokas? Oh, so difficult to learn slokas. Well, one way of learning slokas is live the slokas. Because the more you live the slokas, the more they'll become part of your life and the more you'll automatically be with the slokas. And then one day you can learn them. But if you don't live the slokas, then they're very hard to learn. All right, these are some things that I shared with you tonight. The Hansaduta, we can see the swan is continuing on his journey and going through Vrindavan. We go a little further. I have to sort of skip a few places. We come to the lake of Kaliya. That lake, remember it? I think you've seen it at home in the little Krishna movie. You have seen how poisonous it is, and that even if birds are flying over it, they fall in the water, I think. You have seen, you know it. Well, the whole water was so poisoned that all Krishna's cowherd boyfriends died when they drank it. Now, it is recommended that you go there, to that Kaliya lake, and that you must taste the water. You must taste it. It's very sweet. It's very sweet now. Very sweet. See? It has changed. Actually, in another work of Rupa Goswami, the Uddhava Sandesh, it is described where the Kaliya lake was. And it is said that if you come from Mathura, you come at one point to a place called Chatikara. And from Chatikara, it is said towards the... Chatikara was the place of the bumblebees, it said. There were a lot of flowers and a lot of honey. And then right behind there, to the right, was the temple of Garuda Govinda, where Sridham became Garuda, and where Krishna for 12 days stood on its back. And then it said right behind that, to the right, is the Kaliya lake. That means right behind the Krishna Balaram Mandir in Vrindavan. If you really calculate it, that brings you to the back of the Krishna Balaram Mandir. So there, the Kaliya lake was, and the water was very sweet. Just see. So it has changed, yes. Krishna can change even the most poisonous conditions, even the most poisonous places, and make them auspicious now. So, in other words, we need not fear. There is no need for any fear, because Krishna will change anything and everything. Sometimes the devotees were discussing with Prabhupada the possibility of a nuclear war, because in those days there was a lot of tension between Russia and America, and then if the war will break out and they throw the bombs, what will happen? And then the devotees would say, oh, it will be terrible. Most people will be killed, but even the survivors will not survive because of the radioactivity. They will die a slow death with 3 heads and four legs. Who knows what will happen? Something like that. They will all die from radioactivity. So what will we do about that, Srila Prabhupada, even if we survive? Prabhupada said, don't worry about that. Krishna or the demigods, they can adjust all these things. They can adjust it all, just in a snap. For us, it seems so complicated, but that is so easy to adjust. So we can see the whole madness of Kali Yuga that has sort of upset the climate and upset the whole world and everything. The ever-growing plastic island in the Atlantic Ocean, that every year is growing bigger and bigger. The black spot in the North Sea, you heard about the black spot in the North Sea? There is a black spot and nothing lives in there. And it's growing bigger and bigger and bigger. All these things, right? All these things can be adjusted and will be adjusted immediately as soon as we take up devotional service. What about the extraterrestrials? What about them? What about them? Haven't you heard of abductions? Yes. You have heard? Yes. Would be good. Good preaching opportunity. We're not worried. We're not worried about such things. Because good can never be overcome by evil, says Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. One who does good can never be overcome by evil. Can you fill a cup for me? That is how it is. Okay, so I have to come up with a little conclusion on this second part of the seminar. The third part of the seminar will continue on Sunday, and then we'll come with a conclusion. With great humbleness, bow before Tulasi Devi, who is now burning in a forest fire of separation from Krishna, who understands the greatness of the gopis' eternal love, and whose new sprouts make her lament. Tulasi is blossoming and so many manjaris are coming, but now, what's the point of these manjaris when Krishna is not there? Who to offer them to? So in this way, bow down to Tulasi. That is a condition. That is a condition. One must bow down to Tulasi. Without Tulasi, it is virtually not possible to approach Krishna. But one must do it in surrender. Can I chant on Tulasi Mala when I'm not initiated? Depends. Are you following everything? Practically. Practically is not good enough. Well, I'm trying. Trying means you're not doing. So then better chant on Nim, because then you need the mercy of Nimai. Because then only Nimai can save you. If you don't follow everything and you still want mercy, Nimai will forgive you. Then first go for the mercy of Nimai. Chant on Nim beats. Yes. Later, when you really follow everything, we'll give you Tulasi beats. Like that. Yes. So we see the connection with Tulsi is that important. Tulsi is so pleasing to Krishna. That Prabhupada was so pleased when Govinda Dasi, his disciple, brought Tulsi to the Western world. And she managed to grow Tulsi in the West. He was so pleased. Because wherever there is Krishna, Tulsi will also be there. We remember that Bhaktivedanta Thakur discovered the birthplace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by carefully studying different scriptures, old maps and so on, and really researching it. He came to a particular place, and then he saw that at night, he saw there was an effulgence coming off this place. And later when he went there to that area, he saw the whole area was covered by tulasi bushes. Not surprising, not surprising. So that connection is very important. Haridas Thakur is chanting his rounds in front of Tulasi. So there is a process of taking shelter. And whatever that is, right? It means that we have to stop trying to figure it out. Everyone wants to do his own thing. In Kali Yuga, we have one thing that doesn't exist in other yugas, and that is called homemade religion. It's like everyone is following homemade religion. And in other yugas, thank you. In other yugas, there is actually a... I don't know what to do now. Jai. Sisi Gwanitai ki jai, Sisi Radha Vallabha ki jai, Sisi Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki jai. So, I'll wind it up quickly. So, in other yugas, there is prescribed dharma, and people are inclined to follow prescribed dharma. In Kali Yuga, we have homemade religion. Everyone takes a little bit from here, a little bit from there, and makes it into kichari. Very nice. Yes. So it is an adjustment. It is an adjustment that we actually have to follow a process that is recommended by scripture and superior Vaishnavas. That is the message of the Hansaduta. Now you tell me, what should I do? Should I take some questions and just wind it up like that, or should I just do some kirtan and should we focus on the arati? What's your choice? Who wants kirtan? Raise your hands. God, too many hands for kirtan, huh? All right, then we have a little kirtan. So then on Sunday you have to come back. You cancel all other appointments. They are not important. Even if you have to see a relative you haven't seen for a long time, don't worry about it. Just come on Sunday, and then you'll hear the end of what finally happened to this swan. Did the swan become a messenger or not? Did Krishna get the message or not? That is the question. You will never, never know if you don't come back on Sunday. Sorry. So let's turn around and face the deities. And can you... Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,